Live pick.
You know where they had us parked earlier? Way over there where those lanes are at. They wanted us to string.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Landed. I didn't even hear it or see it.
Yeah, like, wow. How did this mess that?
Hey, more activity, Josh, if you want to bump in. Okay, all the motorcycles and motorcade have gone on the other side.
Huh? Could do that again.
Stop it. Do you want to shoot that way? Can you shoot that way, Oscar? I don't know.
No, you're putting the light in your shot now.
I know, but it's connected to the live view.
Oh.
Copy that. You got it. Nothing yet.
Ask him if he can slide.
Was that?
I need you to stay in person.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we can go now. What was the plan? Cut it?
Oh, is it?
That's what Chuck told me.
I would anticipate it's going to be pretty good. I'm not seeing any aircraft in the air.
Oh, shit. Dude, yo,
Go ahead, get your shot, man.
Okay.
Get your shot.
People, the motorcade is in place.
Yeah, you almost busted.
I know we did.
I said, like,
Sorry,
whoa,
I'm
man.
As soon as I heard you, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was
I'm like,
to
oh, no. Dave's face is coming right back.
No
That was a
blood,
little
y'all.
too.
No
That was,
blood.
that was a little too close.
That was awkward.
So they're just doing the squeeze back, no proctor this time. Whenever he touches down, video on.
What's going to happen here? I'm not seeing much activity. Yeah.
What day you just talked over?
gotta be a lay down. Everybody lie down for a
Lie
minute.
down for a minute. Put your head down.
What would they say? Hunker down.
That's right, hunker down.
Cradle fetal position here. What can we say?
Presto.
Yeah. You do it. You see something, tag yourself, and I'll airdrop you the picture. And you watch how this will be this trend, me and you. We'll write a tweet. Okay. I'm gonna grab my mic. Just
Go ahead and grab it. Go ahead and grab it.
That's the unfortunate thing, Chris. Sometimes you got, you can't hold your hands. I know. When you put it right there, it just don't look right.
Say I got the wrong one.
iPhone?
Uh-huh.
All right. There it is. Sweet.
Pulls up right here. Light as a bridge.
there is excitement in the air here on the tarmac at Hartsfield-Jackson. About 100 or so people are out here to greet the president, along with the press corps as well. Everyone excited, no matter who the president is. It's just an exciting time to see Air Force One land here in Atlanta. And you may see there in the distance, Air Force One has landed and circled around and is now taxiing back our direction. President Donald Trump, this is his first visit to Atlanta as President of the United States. And also we understand Senator David Perdue is on board Air Force One with the president, as both of them are expected to speak at the NRA convention at the Georgia
protecting and defending the Constitution of the United States. And on Election Day, NRA members and gun owners stormed to the polls in an act of sheer defiance of the elites. And on Inauguration Day, our candidate became our president. I spoke to the president shortly after the inauguration, and he wanted me to thank all of you. I mentioned how ridiculous it was that the media, they were even lying about the number of people who watched his inauguration. And I told him that the only number that mattered was the number of people who watched Hillary Clinton's inauguration, 0. We can laugh now, but there was nothing funny about the threat we faced when we met last year. The Supreme Court was deadlocked 4-4, and the most basic right to defend yourself with a firearm in your own home was in jeopardy. Imagine the media fawning over President Hillary Clinton's newest Supreme Court justice, Barack Obama. She said he'd make a wonderful justice, and together they would have torn the Second Amendment to shreds in no time. Last year was a truly dangerous time for our country. After 8 years of leading from behind, ISIS was on the rise, the threat from terrorism had never been greater, and our enemies no longer even pretended to take us seriously. At home, illegal immigration was out of control. Sanctuary cities were allowing illegal criminal aliens unfettered access to destroying families and communities. A coldly calculated failure to enforce the law left the very concept of justice on the brink of collapse. Cities like Chicago became safe havens for killers, where nearly 4,000 people were murdered while Obama was president. And law enforcement everywhere, heroes who wake up every day willing to risk their lives for our safety, were left vulnerable by a deliberate and despicable lack of support from their so-called leaders. And the men and women who sacrificed the most for our freedom, our veterans, were treated with a carelessness and contempt that should forever stain the legacy of Barack Obama. The corruption, dishonesty, and elitism in Washington had truly reached a tipping point. Those were the stakes in last year's election. Not hyperbole, not fake news, the truth. But you know what else is true? The men and women of the National Rifle Association haven't backed down from a fight in 146 years, and we sure as hell weren't scared of Hillary Clinton. So we made sure every American understood the catastrophic consequences of Hillary in the White House. Please take a look.
She'll call 911. Average response time, 11 minutes. Too late. She keeps a firearm in this safe for protection. But Hillary Clinton could take away her right to self-defense. And with Supreme Court justices, Hillary can. Don't let Hillary leave you protected with nothing but a phone. The NRA Political Victory Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
That's the America we could be living in right now. An America where even the most basic fundamental freedoms are destroyed. But you refuse to let that happen. And now, thanks to you, a true defender of constitutional principles, Justice Neil Gorsuch sits on the U.S. Supreme Court. His appointment alone is a monumental victory for American freedom. But you accomplished even more than that. How about Vice President Mike Pence? He's committed to faith, family, and the God-given principles that make this country great. And thanks to you, he's fighting for us every day. Thanks to you, Jeff Sessions runs the Justice Department. Now, it's going to take a hazmat suit to clean up the poisoned, politicized disgrace of a legacy left by Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch. But if anyone has the passion and the integrity to restore the rule of law, it's Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Thanks to you, yeah. Thanks to you, our enemies truly fear us once again because General James Mad Dog Mattis runs the Department of Defense. And the list goes on. Across the Trump administration, we have an all-star team of principled leaders. You should be proud because this organization made the difference and saved the soul of America. But the fight is far from over. All you have to do is turn on the TV to understand that we didn't win the media with this election. We still don't control Hollywood. And Michael Bloomberg, well, he's still short, rich, and angry. And they're such hypocrites. They love their armed security, but they just hate the idea of you being able to defend yourself with a firearm. And the truth is, in too many places today, you can't. Folks, it's a sorry state of affairs when 10 states can deny constitutional freedom to law-abiding American citizens. It's even worse when the media refuses to cover it. They won't report that honest, well-meaning people, nurses, stay-at-home moms, veterans, even a disaster relief worker, have been charged with felonies for simply having a lawfully owned firearm. Each was legally licensed to carry a gun in their home state, but arrested and charged as criminals when safely carrying it through another, less free state. It's an absolute outrage, and it goes unreported day after day. Look, this freedom makes a life or death difference in innocent people's lives. It isn't just illegal for states to deny it, it's downright immoral, and it needs to change. But for that to happen, it'll take the same intensity and moral purpose that we brought to last year's election. I don't care how long it takes, but we can and we will make Congress pass national right to carry reciprocity. We fight for self-defense because your life is worth fighting for. This is who we are. Please watch.
A man attacked me in a parking garage, tried to stab me with an 8-inch knife, but I carry a pistol. I fight back. That's why I'm still here. Every woman has a right to defend herself with a gun if she chooses. Hillary Clinton disagrees with that. Don't let politicians take away your right to own a gun. Donald Trump supports my right to own a gun. Defend your rights. Vote Donald Trump for president.
The NRA Institute for Legislative Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Folks, it's not easy to tell a painful personal story like that, much less on national television. And to do it in the heat of a brutal and violent election takes a special kind of courage. But that's Christy. She was ready to do everything she could to make sure other women never have to experience the hell that she went through. Christy endured hateful, vicious attacks on social media just for speaking her mind. They tried to bully and intimidate her into silence, but she stood strong. She weathered the storm, and she didn't back down, not 1 inch. Christy is a life member of the NRA, and she'll never be alone because she's got 5 million of us watching her back. She's with us today. Christy, please stand and let us all thank you. Friends, you and I and Christy, we're part of something special, something unique, not just in American history, but in world history. 6,000 years of human civilization say we aren't supposed to be able to make a difference. We aren't supposed to pick history's winners and losers. We're not even supposed to have a say because we're nothing more than a gathering of the most common of common people. We're presidents of our dinner tables, kings and queens of the grocery list, and emperors of the bleacher seats. And yet last November, we accomplished what no one thought was possible. We didn't just swing an election, we altered the course of history. If you take every $1 million PR firm, every self-important media operation, all the experts and pollsters and professional know-it-alls, every pedigree and resume and fancy title from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco and beyond, if you take every last one of them and add them together, they don't have an ounce of your influence. That's why they fear you, and that's why they hate you. From the bottom of my heart, there's no other place in the world I'd rather be than fighting by your side. You are the most committed, most principled, and most worthy group of modern-day patriots, and I am truly humbled to serve on your behalf. I don't care if we're the only people in the arena. I don't care who we're up against. I don't care how lonely it gets or how tough it gets. We will never stop fighting for this country and this freedom. If we stick together, there's nothing we can't achieve, no enemy we can't defeat, and no battle we can't win. Let us vow on this day that November was more than a temporary moment. It was a permanent political red line for every would-be holder of power. If you run against the Second Amendment freedom of everyday American citizens, you put your future in direct opposition to the most powerful grassroots force in history. We are the National Rifle Association of America, and we are now and forever freedom's safest place. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, the National Rifle Association is the only organization in the world that can make a rightful claim to that phrase, freedom's safest place. Above all, that's a testament to you, the 5 million men and women of the NRA. But 37 years ago, that number wasn't 5 million. It was barely 1 million. And the idea that a bunch of everyday average people had enough power to pick the President of the United States was hard to fathom. There's one man who's seen this monumental change firsthand for nearly the past 4 decades. In his time as the leader of our organization, he's gone toe-to-toe with governors, senators, and yes, presidents. He's called out fake news on behalf of gun owners for his whole career. And when he's been faced with the most intense pressure to give in, to give up the freedom generations of veterans have fought and bled for, he's never backed down, not 1 inch. Under his leadership, this organization has grown into the most powerful grassroots force on earth, and this freedom has experienced a rebirth at a time when every other freedom was on decline. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the CEO and Executive Vice President of your National Rifle Association, Wayne LaPierre.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello, America. I'll tell you, it's great to be here with all of you today. And I want to welcome you to this great celebration of American values. I know you're excited to see President Trump. I am too. And American gun owners can already see a real difference since the election, especially now in the Supreme Court. Yeah. I know you'll all join me in saying, thank you, Mr. President, and keep it up. We must do all we can to support our president because, as you know, there's an intense war that's being waged by leftist zealots to destroy President Trump and destroy his administration. They'll seemingly stop at nothing, including tearing apart our country. It's all part of a larger war being waged right now against truth in America. It's a calculated, orchestrated attack against the values upon which our great nation was founded, against our uniquely American true freedom. If we don't stand up to them, and I mean now, an entire generation of Americans could be lost, and our nation along with them. It's up to us to speak up against the three most dangerous voices in America: academic elites, political elites, and media elites. These are America's greatest domestic threats. Academic elites salt the soil of fertile young minds. Political elites plant lies to take advantage of the under and misinformed. And leftist media elites deliberately deceive and spin and twist the truth to grow their anti-American agenda. The radical left in this country have hijacked too many of our schools and colleges, and now they're trying to hijack our youth. Young Americans are taught national shame over exceptionalism, socialism and communism over free market capitalism, government control over self-destiny, the collective good over individualism. Scores aren't kept. No winners or losers. It's about participation trophies. And young people are left unprepared for the real world. No longer do young minds study the Constitution, especially not the individual freedom and self-empowerment of the Second Amendment. True American history and even American heroes and real American values, the values and principles that built our nation, are rewritten or admitted altogether. The result is an emerging generation of citizens with warped minds. When their turn comes, how can they possibly lead, lacking any fundamental grounding in American principles and values? Even now, the political elites feed off the uninformed, self-absorbed, self-minded generation. Free safe spaces, free college, free health care, free jobs, or if not, free money to get by, free immigration, free sanctuary cities. Bernie Sanders was not a movement, as a fawning media called his campaign. Bernie is a political predator of young voters who were lied to by school teachers and college professors. Set up for his message of big government socialism. Free, free, free for me. No one told the truth about how that free stuff was going to be paid for. It was all one big fat lie. And the media, they were in on the lie from the start because it fit their agenda. When did the media stop being journalists and start becoming PR flacks for the destruction of our country? You know, it's a question Americans are asking all over the country every time they turn on their TV or pick up their newspaper. It's all about their own celebrity, ratings, and agenda. The truth doesn't matter because truth is no longer a fundamental principle. It's now just a political device. There's no limit to how far of a truth can be stretched or perverted, so long as it suits their political end game. I have long believed that one of America's greatest threats is a national news media that fails to tell the truth. Theirs is too often a calculated campaign to destroy honest truth, to pervert it, to dictate how we should think, how we should feel, or how we should act. It's all drowning truth of America's better voices. It's all drowning that out. Good voices all over America, our families, our churches, our neighbors, and our co-workers. Voices that insist on the priorities of math and science and English in our schools. Voices that demand reverence for the constitutional freedoms that have always defined our nation. Voices that demand law and order and justice and liberty for all. America's better voices right here in this room today that cry out for the values and the freedom that we hold dear and demand that left-wing social engineers leave us and our families and our children alone. More and more, all over this country, good, decent, honest Americans are seeing right through all the lies of the elites. Amen. You got it. For the last quarter of a century, in poll after poll, whether it's Gallup or NBC or the Wall Street Journal, Americans have said they view the NRA more favorably than both chambers of Congress or either national political party. And, yeah. And heck, I like baseball, but NRA is even more popular than Major League Baseball. It's true. Check the polls. The majority of Americans admire and they trust the NRA because we always say out loud what we believe. We speak the truth, even when it may be hard, and we fight like hell to defend it. Our success, our victories, our growth, our strength have always been grounded in truth. Confronted with the three most dangerous voices in America, the NRA has consistently beaten them back. We've kicked hundreds of politicians out of office and sent them into obscurity by speaking truthfully to citizens all over this country, by educating and teaching the value of our Second Amendment to an ever-growing body of Americans who are reaching out for their rights to defend their lives, their homes, and their families and their communities. And by giving the media the big, fat, black eye it so often richly deserves. Please watch. Watch this.
They use their media to assassinate real news. They use their schools to teach children that their president is another Hitler. They use their movie stars and singers and comedy shows and award shows to repeat their narrative over and over again. And then they use their ex-president to endorse the resistance, all to make them march, make them protest, make them scream racism and sexism and xenophobia and homophobia, to smash windows, burn cars, shut down interstates and airports, bully and terrorize the law-abiding, until the only option left is for the police to do their jobs and stop the madness. And when that happens, they'll use it as an excuse for their outrage. The only way we stop this, the only way we save our country and our freedom, is to fight this violence of lies with the clenched fist of truth. I'm the National Rifle Association of America, and I'm freedom's safest place.
Yeah. To defend our Second Amendment freedom, NRA has deployed its First Amendment freedom through innovative state-of-the-art news and content platforms, and to deliver the truth directly to all freedom-loving Americans. We're all over the country, and you can see it now on NRATV.com, including the latest on NRA Carry Guard. You know, back in 1987, it was NRA that launched the National Concealed Carry Movement. We started it. We fought for it in states all over this country. The NRA is the reason today that 15 million Americans legally carry a firearm for personal protection. That's why we've introduced Carry Guard, the most comprehensive level of personal protection, training, education, and insurance for every law-abiding citizen who carries a firearm. It's the most elite, essential, and effective training available. And a Carry Guard card should be in the wallet or purse of every American citizen. Only with the strong voices and new innovative 21st century programs echoing together all over this country can the dangerous voices be overcome. And the National Rifle Association of America is the strongest voice of freedom on the planet. Sometimes the elites of the radical left, they suck so much air out of the atmosphere that there's nothing left to breathe but their poison. And that's what leads to all the angst and anxiety and hatred that's dividing this country. It's only our loud and clear and life-changing messages of American values and liberty that can rescue our youth. Only strong voices of truth and good can save this country. The election of our president, that's proof of that. The NRA stood with Donald Trump through the darkest days of his campaign. We never wavered. We never flinched. We never lost focus of the true priorities of that election. The Supreme Court, a return and respect for law and order in our country, a strong national defense, and an absolute determination to restore the full measure of Second Amendment freedom for all honest, law-abiding Americans. Our victory in that fight has made possible the fights we continue to face, and face them we will. I know that you, all of you, are up for the challenge, and I know gun owners all over this country are eager to again stand and fight for their freedom and fight for their president. We love our country. We cherish our freedom. We believe in America as the greatest nation on earth, and we are all forever proud to be an American. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome another proud American, the great Lee Greenwood.
Thank you, Wayne. Hello, patriots. Hello, Americans. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the NRA. I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
Lee Greenwood, everybody. Let's give him another round of applause. Anyone here proud to be an American? Who's proud to be an NRA member? Who's proud of what we accomplished in November? You know, the media won't admit it, but President Trump's had a hell of a first 100 days. For starters, he saved the Second Amendment and individual freedom by putting Neil Gorsuch on the U.S. Supreme Court. He restored the rule of law when he put Jeff Sessions in as Attorney General. Our enemies now fear us again because he put General Mad Dog Mattis in charge of our military. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, we now have a commander-in-chief who isn't afraid to bomb the ever-loving hell out of ISIS. Now, I have a message for the New York Times, CNN, and MSNBC. Look, I get it. I know you don't want to be here. You thought you'd be covering President Hillary Clinton this year. Well, sorry about that, you're not. So get over it and join the men and women of the National Rifle Association in welcoming the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Thank you, Chris, for that kind introduction and for your tremendous work on behalf of our Second Amendment. Thank you very much. I want to also thank Wayne LaPierre for his unflinching leadership in the fight for freedom. Wayne, thank you very much. Great. I'd also like to congratulate Karen Handel on her incredible fight in Georgia 6. The election takes place on June 20th. And by the way, on primaries, let's not have 11 Republicans running for the same position again. It's too nerve-shattering. She's totally for the NRA, and she's totally for the Second Amendment, so get out and vote. You know, she's running against someone who's going to raise your taxes to the sky, destroy your health care, and he's for open borders, lots of crime, and he's not even able to vote in the district that he's running in. Other than that, I think he's doing a fantastic job, right? So get out and vote for Karen. Also, my friend, he's become a friend because there's nobody that does it like Lee Greenwood. Wow. Lee's anthem is the perfect description of the renewed spirit sweeping across our country. And it really is indeed sweeping across our country. So, Lee, I know I speak for everyone in this arena when I say we are all very proud, indeed, to be an American. Thank you very much, Lee. No one was more proud to be American than the beloved patriot, and you know who I'm talking about. We remember on gatherings like today, your former 5-term president, the late Charlton Heston. How good was Charlton? And I remember Charlton, he was out there fighting when maybe a lot of people didn't want to be fighting. He was out there for a long time. He was a great guy. And it's truly wonderful to be back in Atlanta and back with my friends at the NRA. You're my friends, believe me. Perhaps some of you remember the last time we were all together. Remember that? We had a big crowd then, too, so we knew something was happening. But it was in the middle of a historic political year and in the middle of a truly historic election. What fun that was, November 8th. Wasn't that a great evening? Do you remember that evening? Remember that? Remember they were saying, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has won the state of Michigan. They go, Michigan, how did that? Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. Whoa. But earlier in the evening, remember, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, all the way up. We ran up the East Coast. And you know, the Republicans have a tremendous disadvantage in the Electoral College. You know that. And tremendous disadvantage. And to run the whole East Coast, and then you go with Iowa and Ohio and all of the different states. It was a great evening, one that a lot of people will never forget. A lot of people. Not going to forget that evening. And remember they said, there is no path to 270. For months I was hearing that. You know, they're trying to suppress the vote. So they keep saying it. So people say, you know, I really like Trump. He loves the Second Amendment. He loves the NRA. I love him, but let's go to the movie because he can't win. Because they're trying to suppress the vote. But they'd say, I mean, hundreds of times I heard, there is no vote. You know, there's no route. They'd say, there is no route to 270. And we ended up with 306. So they were right. Not 270, 306. That was some evening. Big sports fans said that was the single most exciting event they've ever seen. That includes Super Bowls and World Series and boxing matches. That was an exciting evening for all of us, and it meant a lot. Only one candidate in the general election came to speak to you, and that candidate is now the President of the United States standing before you again. I have a feeling that in the next election, you're going to be swamped with candidates, but you're not going to be wasting your time. You'll have plenty of those Democrats coming over, and you're going to say, no, sir, no, thank you. No, ma'am, perhaps, ma'am. It may be Pocahontas. Remember that. And she is not big for the NRA, that I can tell you. But you came through for me, and I am going to come through for you. I was proud to receive the NRA's earliest endorsement in the history of the organization. And today I am also proud to be the first sitting president to address the NRA Leadership Forum since our wonderful Ronald Reagan in 1983. And I want to thank each and every one of you. not only for your help electing true friends of the Second Amendment, but for everything you do to defend our flag and our freedom. With your activism, you help safeguard the freedoms of our soldiers who have bled and died for us on the battlefields. And I know we have many veterans in the audience today, and we want to give them a big, big, beautiful round of applause. And like I promised, we are doing a really top job already. 99 days, but already with the Veterans Administration, people are seeing a big difference. We are working really hard at the VA, and you're going to see it, and you're already seeing it, and it's my honor. I've been telling you we're going to do it, and we're doing it. Thank you. The NRA protects in our capitals and legislative houses the freedoms that our service members have won for us on those incredible battlefields. And it's been a tough fight against those who would go so far as to ban private gun ownership entirely. But I am here to deliver you good news. And I can tell you that Wayne and Chris have been fighting with me long and hard to make sure that we were with you today, not somebody else with an empty podium, because believe me, the podium would have been empty. They fought long and hard, and I think you folks cannot thank them enough. They were with us all the way, right from the beginning. But we have news that you've been waiting for a long time. The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. You have a true friend and champion in the White House. No longer will federal agencies be coming after law-abiding gun owners. No longer will the government be trying to undermine your rights and your freedoms as Americans. Instead, we will work with you by your side. We will work with the NRA to promote responsible gun ownership, to protect our wonderful hunters and their access to the very beautiful outdoors. You met my son. I can tell you, both sons, they love the outdoors. Frankly, I think they love the outdoors more than they love, by a long shot, Fifth Avenue, but that's okay. And we want to assure you of the sacred right of self-defense for all of our citizens. When I spoke to this forum last year, our nation was still mourning the loss of a giant, a great defender of the Constitution, Justice Antonin Scalia. I promised that if elected, I would nominate a justice who would be faithful and loyal to the Constitution. I even went one step further and publicly presented a list of 20 judges from which I would make my selection. And that's exactly what we did. And by the way, I want to thank really Heritage, and I want to thank also all of the people that worked with us. Where's Leo? Is Leo around here? Where is he? He's got to be here. Where is he? He has been so good. But and also from Heritage, Jim DeMint, it's been amazing. I mean, those people have been fantastic. They've been real friends. the Federalist people. Where are they? Are they around here someplace? They really helped us out. I kept my promise, and now, with your help, our brand new justice, and he is really something very special, Neil Gorsuch, sits on the bench of the United States Supreme Court. For the first time in the modern political era, we have confirmed a new justice in the first 100 days. The last time that happened was 136 years ago in 1881. Now, we won't get any credit for this, but don't worry about it. The credit is in the audience, right? The credit is in the audience. All of those people. They won't give us credit, but it's been a long time, and we're very honored. We've also taken action to stand up for America's sportsmen. On their very last full day in office, the previous administration issued an 11th hour rule to restrict the use of lead ammunition on certain federal lands. Have you heard about that, folks? I'm shocked to hear that. You've all heard about that. You've heard about that. On his first day as Secretary of the Interior, Ryan Zinke eliminated the previous administration's ammunition ban. He's going to be great. Ryan's going to be great. We have also moved very quickly to restore something gun owners care about very, very much. It's called the rule of law. We have made clear that our administration will always stand with the incredible men and women of law enforcement. In fact, countless members of law enforcement are also members of the NRA because our police know that responsible gun ownership saves lives and that the right of self-defense is essential to public safety. Do we all agree with that? Our police and sheriffs also know that when you ban guns, only the criminals will be armed. For too long, Washington has gone after law-abiding gun owners while making life easier for criminals, drug dealers, traffickers, and gang members. MS-13, you know about MS-13? It's not pleasant for them anymore, folks. It's not pleasant for them anymore. That's a bad group. Not pleasant for MS-13. Get them the hell out of here, right? Get them out. We are protecting the freedoms of law-abiding Americans, and we are going after the criminal gangs and cartels that prey on our innocent citizens, and we are really going after them. As members of the NRA know well, some of the most important decisions a president can make are appointments. And I've appointed people who believe in law, order, and justice. That is why I have selected as your Attorney General, number one, a really fine person, a really good man, a man who has spent his entire career fighting crime, supporting the police, and defending the Second Amendment. For the first time in a long time, you have a pro-Second Amendment, tough-on-crime Attorney General, and his name is Jeff Sessions. And Attorney General Sessions is putting our priorities into action. He's going after the drug dealers who are peddling their poison all over our streets and destroying our youth. He's going after the gang members who threaten our children. And he's fully enforcing our immigration laws in all 50 states. And you know what? It's about time. Heading up the effort to secure America's borders is a great military general, a man of action, Homeland Security Director John Kelly. Secretary Kelly, who used to be General Kelly, is following through on my pledge to protect the borders, remove criminal aliens, and stop the drugs from pouring into our country. We've already seen, listen to this, no, it's never happened before. People can't even believe it. And by the way, we will build the wall no matter how low this number gets or how high this gets. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. You know, they're trying to use this number against us because we've done so unbelievably at the borders already. They're trying to use it against us. But you need that wall to stop the human trafficking, to stop the drugs, to stop the wrong people. You need the wall. But listen to this. We've already seen a 73% decrease, never happened before, in illegal immigration on the southern border since my election. 73%. You see what they're doing, right? So why do you need a wall? We need a wall. We'll build the wall. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. That's an easy one. We're going to build the wall. We need the wall. I said to General Kelly, how important is it? He said, very important. It's that final element. We need the wall. And it's a wall in certain areas, obviously, where you have these massive physical structures you don't need, and we have certain big rivers and all. But we need a wall, and we're going to get that wall. And the world is getting the message. They know that our border is no longer open to illegal immigration, and that if they try to break in, you'll be caught and you'll be returned to your home. You're not staying any longer. And if you keep coming back illegally after deportation, you will be arrested, prosecuted, and you will be put behind bars. Otherwise, it'll never end. Let's also remember that immigration security is national security. We've seen the attacks from 9/11 to Boston to San Bernardino. Hundreds of individuals from other countries have been charged with terrorism-related offenses in the United States. We spend billions and billions of dollars on security all over the world. But then we allow radical Islamic terrorists to enter right through our front door. That's not going to happen anymore. It's time to get tough. It's time we finally got smart. And yes, it's also time to put America first. And perhaps I see all of those beautiful red and white hats. But we will never forget our favorite slogan of them all, Make America Great Again. Right? Keeping our communities safe and protecting our freedoms also requires the cooperation of our state leaders. We have some incredible pro-Second Amendment governors here at the NRA conference, including Governor Scott of Florida. Where's Governor Scott? Where is he? Great guy, doing a great job. Governor Bryant of Mississippi, what a wonderful place. Governor Bryant is here. Thank you. Governor Deal of Georgia. And we're also joined by two people that, well, one I loved right from the beginning. The other one I really liked, didn't like, and now like a lot again. Does that make sense? Senator David Perdue, he was from the beginning. And Senator Ted Cruz, like, dislike, like. Where are they? Good guys. Good guys, smart cookies. Each of these leaders knows that public officials must serve under the Constitution, not above it. We all took an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and that means defending the Second Amendment. So let me make a simple promise to every one of the freedom-loving Americans in the audience today. As your president, I will never, ever infringe on the right of the people to keep and bear arms. Never, ever. Freedom is not a gift from government. Freedom is a gift from God. It was this conviction that stirred the heart of a great American patriot. On that day, April 242 years ago, it was the day that Paul Revere spread his Lexington alarm, the famous warning that the British are coming, the British are coming, right? You've all heard that, right? The British are coming. Now we have other people trying to come, but believe me, they're not going to be successful. That I can tell you. Nothing changes, right, folks? Nothing changes. They are not going to be successful. There'll be serious hurt on them, not on us. Next came the shot, heard round the world, and then a ragtag army of God-fearing farmers, frontiersmen, shopkeepers, merchants that stood up to the most powerful army at that time on earth, the most powerful army on earth. But we sometimes forget what inspired those everyday farmers and workers in that great war for independence. Many years after the war, a young man asked Captain Levi Preston, aged 91, why he fought alongside his neighbors at Concord. Was it the Stamp Act? Was it the tea tax? Was it a work of philosophy? No, the old veteran replied. Then why, he was asked. Young man, the captain said, what we meant in going for those redcoats was this. We always had governed ourselves, and we always meant to govern ourselves. Captain Preston's words are a reminder of what this organization and my administration are all about. The right of a sovereign people to govern their own affairs and govern them properly. We don't want any longer to be ruled by the bureaucrats in Washington or in any other country for that matter. In America, we are ruled by our citizens. We are ruled by each and every one of you. But we can't be complacent. These are dangerous times. These are horrible times for certain obvious reasons. But we're going to make them great times again. Every day, we are up against those who would take away our freedoms, restrict our liberties, and even those who want to abolish the Second Amendment. we must be vigilant, and I know you are all up to the task. Since the first generation of Americans stood strong at Concord, each generation to follow has answered the call to defend freedom in their time. That is why we are here today, to defend freedom for our children, to defend the liberty of all Americans, and to defend the right of a free and sovereign people to keep and bear arms. I greatly appreciated your support on November 8th in what will hopefully be one of the most important and positive elections for the United States of all time. And to the NRA, I can proudly say, I will never, ever let you down. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our Constitution. And God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screens.
Chris, I want to thank you for your leadership and dedication to preserving our Second Amendment. I'll join you on a rooftop anywhere. President Trump, I want to thank you for your leadership and love of this country and everything that you're doing for us. Thank you. But we also have to be aware that we have won the White House and we have preserved freedom. But that enemy, that adversary that we are facing is vigilant, and they are dedicated to trying to take that away from us. Right now, while we're celebrating this weekend, they're sitting in a dark room wondering how they lost and trying to figure out, we don't want to do that again. They want to win, and they're going to come back at us again and again. So we have to be ready. As in Benghazi, they attacked one of our own, and we went to save them. Then we fell back to more defensive positions. We let them get close.